So I thought I'd have a go at trying to build this vacation request inside ClickUp. So I'm following this video by Layla from Process Driven. I'll link it in the description. So let's have a go and see if we can build a vacation or holiday requests form and process inside ClickUp. So the first thing I've done is created a pretty document here just to give us a guideline based on the video. So we need to define the workflow, create a request form, and then notify the requester. So before we do all of that, actually, let's create a list for ourselves. Let's create a new list. So click on here, click list. Let's call this holiday request tracker. Okay, we've got a new list. We're going to start from scratch with the statuses. So I'm thinking we only really need 2 statuses. So we're going to go down to here and list settings and list statuses. We're going to use custom, and we want, if it's open, we're going to use requested. There's no real in progress. Can we get rid of that? There we go. Of course, we don't actually have to have an active status. And then the closed status, we're going to call that archived, but we are going to have a done status. So really, we're just going to use the requested and the done statuses, and then the closed one, we can kind of leave that off. Actually, no, let's keep this even more simple. Let's just have it as requested and approved. There we go, 2 statuses, and then we'll just have to show the closed statuses in a minute. Save that. There we go, requested. I've got the itchiest eyes in the world at the moment. There's hay fever. I'm sure a beer will help. Right, back to work. So we've got our list. It's just a list view at the moment. We know we're definitely going to want a calendar view. So let's add that in while we are here. So calendar, add that view. There you go. So we've got our list view and our calendar view. Let's go back to our form, see what we have to do. So define the workflow, turn it into a task template. Okay, cool. So the first thing we want to do in here is create a task. Let's call it holiday request 1. Oh, that's cool. It's got a little tick box. So that's, I haven't noticed that before. When it's when you've just got the 2 things, you can just have a tick box, make it closed. Okay, holiday request 1. So what do we need in here? We need to add turn it into a task template example. Okay, so this is a checklist of what the person who receives the request is going to need to do. So review the request, change the status on the calendar to match the request. Oh, we probably need a 3rd status then, actually. So let's go back to here. Let's go back to the statuses, because it's requested, might not be approved. What do we want to say? Denied? Is that the right word? I don't know, we'll just say denied for now. Let's move that into a done status, I think, because that'll be, is it going to be in progress, or I don't know. No, let's leave it there. We can fiddle about with this later. Let's change the color. Denied red. There we go. Right, now we've got our 3 statuses. So let's go back to here. Turn it into a task template. Review request, change the status, notify the user of approval. So we'll go into our task, and we can just add these. We could put them in here, but it's much more fun to add as a checklist. So review the request, change status, of request, and then what do we want to do? We want to notify user of approval. There you go, nice and simple. So somebody requests some holiday, we're going to review that. Okay, call it reviewed it, change the status. Okay, done that. Notify them, did they get their holiday or not? So this is all quite manual. We're going to try and automate it a bit later. Okay, next thing we want to do, create a request form. Okay, so the way we do that is we add another view. So forms live inside views on ClickUp. And let's add it here. And this is going to be our holiday request form. Description, use this form to request holiday from your boss. Let's just say time off. So I'm going to try using this at work, basically. I'm building this now, see how it goes, make a video of it, and then use it at work and see if we can implement it. Okay. Holiday request form. Right, these are the things we need. So your name, your email, what should we call this time off, start date and end date. So the start date and end date we know are built into here. So we've got a start date, boom, and then it's called due date, but the nice thing is we can rename these bits. So the actual property is still called due date, but we're just saying, you know, end date. Let's allow time input, because then we know if the person is, you know, taking it off. Maybe they're just taking a half day. So we don't want that logged as a full day. So let's add some custom fields. So the name is just going to be text and email. Let's add that one on. So let's call it email. So let's put email up there. Your email. Boom. Your name, and what should we call it? Okay, so we need one for name. That'll be text. Add that one onto here and call it your name. So your name, your email, and the last one is what should we call this time off? So I guess that bit we don't really need, but some people might want to be like holiday in the sun or something. So we could just add that in the description. No, let's add another custom field. Why not? So this one's going to be another text one. Time off name. Let's call it that. So your name, your email, and then what should we call this time off? And we won't make that one required because squeaky chair. Yeah, there we go. So we've got your name, your email. We can view it here. Name, email, what should we call this time off? And then when is your holiday going to start? And when is it going to end? So I think that's all fairly self-explanatory there, which is cool. What else do we need to do? Okay, so once we've created the form, apply task template every time the form is submitted. So we didn't make. So the form's done. Let's go back to our task here. And let's just call this holiday request. Do we need to fill any of these out? No, I think they're all good. Okay, so we're going to save this. If we go to template center, save that as a template. Holiday request checklist. All members, we'll just import everything. Yeah, I think we want to import everything. That's all good. Click OK on that one. Right, now we've made that, we can probably delete it, but let's keep it there for now. Okay, so that's that bit done. So apply the task template every time the form is submitted. That's the next bit. So if we go back over to our form, go to editing. So when the form is submitted, then we want to use the holiday request checklist. Use the template, 3 custom fields, email, name, time off. We can add a description. Let's just leave it like that. Cool, so that's going to use that. We can turn off ClickUp branding, which is nice. Add custom field answers to the description. Keep fields full width. I guess we don't really need it in the description. We'll just leave that there. It should be good. Okay, next. Automatically assign to the requester. Okay, so when this form is submitted, you can assign it to someone, but that's not going to work. That's going to assign it to the same person every time. We've got assignee in here. So we've got your name, that's cool, and your email. If we add assignee in this bit, then yeah, let's make that required. So then what they would have to do is select yourself, select your, I don't know, profile, or select your profile from the list. So this is going to assign the holiday to that person. So there we go, so you can select that. So then you could really get rid of the name. We'll keep the email though, just because that will be useful for in a minute. So let's get rid of the, no, we'll keep the name. Yeah. So we're going to keep the name because we want to name it the actual task nicely. Going to keep the email because we want to notify the user in a minute. And then this bit's useful because it'll assign the task to the right person. What should we call the time off? I might get rid of this one. Who really cares about that? That's just a bit of fluff. And then this we're going to rename to holiday start date. And holiday end date. There we go. Name, email, select the person, holiday start, holiday end, sorted. Automatically assigned to the requester, so we've got that bit by they have to do the work basically, like assign it to whoever it is. So that means that anyone really in management could fill out the form. Like someone might email them and be like, oh, can I have this time off please? Someone in management could just fill out the form, then assign it to that person, and you're sorted. Okay, next bit. Automate an email to go out to management requesting the time off with a link to the request. Okay, so this is when the automations come in. So when the form is filled out, let's go to our automations. When a task is created, so this is going to be an email. So when status changes, what do we want to do? Automate an email to go out to management requesting the time off with a link to the request. So when the form is filled out or when a task is created, boom, here we go. When task created, select. When the task is created via the form, should be this one. Then send an email from, and it's going from my email address to, and then we can use the email. So that's the email in the form. So let's say we want it to go to dad@gmail.com, because this is, they fill out the request. This request will then go to the management, CC anyone in, BCC blah blah blah. Cool, and then the subject. What do we want it? So automate an email to go requesting the time off. Okay, so the person is going to be create an email, date created. So we've got 12 things here. Name. Would like to request some time off. They have requested holiday to start, and then that's the start date, end to end on the, we're using the due date. We've called it end date, but it's the due date. Oops, due date property. Cool, so that goes out there. Then what we want to do is we want to link to the, oh, I can't make a new line. That's strange. Oh, this is the subject. Silly me. Let's see if we can just copy that. There we go. So name would like to request some time off. They have requested their holiday to start. Let's make it simple. Start date. Boom. End date. Lovely. Start date and end date. And we've got my nice little signature down there. So the subject that we want is going to be, it's going to be, let's call it name. Oh, that's what they wanted to call. Okay, yeah. So it's their name. Time off request from whatever they wrote as their name. So when task created, then send an email to management saying this person wants to request time off, start date, end date. Then please go to, and what have we got here? With a link to the request. Okay, so please go to the request here to approve to review, and let's just say to review. Sorry for getting in the details a bit here. I'm doing this all from scratch. Please go to the request here to review, and the field that we want to add in there is going to be there's the task ID, task link, boom. So if they click that, that will take them to the task that has been created, and it should have a template on it automatically that has the checklist on for what they need to do. Great. So when task created, then send email. So I'm going to put this in the description. So it's always useful to add descriptions to your automations, because if you don't, you forget what they do. You have to click into them, see what they're doing, and then maybe you go, oops, I've clicked something, I've broken something. And that is not what you want to do. So automate an email to go out to management requesting the time off with a link to the request. Done. Close that. I think we're almost there. So number 3, notify the requester. When the time off status field changes from requested to approved or denied, send an automated email to the requester. And this is what the email I wanted to say. So then we need to add another bit of automation in here. So automations are list-based. So the automations that I'm doing here, this is, when I say list-based, I mean this bit over on the left. So you've got the list, calendar, holiday request form. This is all inside the same area here, inside this list. So we've got the automation. We want to set another automation, and we want it to do another email. So when the time off status field, okay, so status, oh no, we need to do email, I suppose. So if you click on one of these, the problem is it doesn't have email in. So email is like an integration. If I clicked on this one, when the status changes, then see there's no email action in there, which is a little bit annoying, but that's okay. So we've got to go to the email area. So when status changes, then send email. That's exactly what we want. Select the account. I've just got the one account on here. So when the status changes from requested to, let's say, approved. So when it goes from when they've requested it, oh, it says from blah blah, from to approved. There we go. From requested to approved, send an email to that email. Then I want to CC management. Let's what do we do? Notion dad at gmail.com. And then the subject, time off for name approved. I wonder if we can do an emoji in there. And we want it to say your task name request is approved. Ah, but it's not going to be task name because we're not using that now. So we'll get rid of that property in a minute. Your time off request has been approved. And then we'll just do the same again. Start date, end date. And that was start date. Oh, it's in the wrong bloody one again. So we're down here. So start date and end date. Time off request has been approved. Boom. Create that one. When time off request is approved, send email. And then we basically want an exact copy of that. The annoying thing is we don't have a way to copy it yet. So I have to create another automation that just says when it goes from, I guess from any, because it could be approved. It's like, yeah, it's been approved. Then they could deny it later on for some silly reason. Yeah, so from any to denied. And I've set it as active because I think we might want to go back and, it's been denied. So the person will be like, why is this denied? What's going on? I didn't want to change the assignee. What did I want to do? I wanted to email, but we're not in the email section. Create an order. No, this isn't. Oh, so So this is another annoying thing. Create an automation. It doesn't have the email bit. I've got to go back to the browse bit, then go to the integration there. So that's a bit annoying. So when status changes, right, let's try and get through this bit quickly. From any to denied, then send an email from me to the email that they wrote in there. CC please feel free, let's say, please feel free to reply to this email to, we will attempt to rearrange your time off request. So what's really nice is that if you reply, so this email gets sent out, if they reply to that email, it will come up as a threaded response on the task itself. So everything can be done inside the task. You don't need to go into your inboxes or find anything. Let's create that one. When time off is denied, send email. Let's put a full stop on that one as well, just because. There we go. Okay, so we've got our 3 automations. Task is created, send an email saying, hey, this person wants time off. When it's approved, send an email saying, whoa, you got time off. When it's denied, hey, my description's gone. When time off request is denied, send email. There we go. Yeah, so when it's denied, send an email. Cool. So I think that might be just about it. So let's give it a test, see what we get, and we'll go from there. So holiday request form. The nice thing is you can do it in just this viewing area, or you can copy the link and try it in an incognito window or something. But what you see here is exactly what you're getting. So your name, let's call ourselves John for now. Your email, so we want it, it's going to be confusing, it's going to go out from that one into this one. So I suppose I'll use my other email, me@halleywell.com. Select your profile from the list, that's this one. Holiday start date, I would like to have tomorrow off, please. And then my working hours are 9. I'm just gonna have tomorrow off until 5. Nope, not. Oh, it's in the. That's confusing. 24-hour clock there, but normal clock there. Anyway, so my name's John. I would like some time off, please. I'm gonna request it. Okay, so that bit can be edited as well, so that's quite nice. So you can go to editing. There's a bit down here, edit the response. Thank you. So you can edit that bit there. So if we go over to our list, let's delete this one because we don't need that anymore. That was just there to build our template. Form submission. Okay, so it hasn't got a good title. I wonder why that is. We'll have to think about that in a second. So what we want here is let's add the start date into that bit while it refreshes. So that's when they want the holiday to start. That's when it's due. We don't need to see the priority. Who's it for? It's for that handsome chap there. And was there anything else you wanted to see? Email, name. Okay, so time off name, we can delete that actually. Get rid of that. So it's always a good idea to get rid of properties you don't need anymore, they just get in the way. So name, so that's for John, that's the email, start and due date. So it's just this title we need to fix. So let's have a look. How do we get the title? Oh, it's a task name. So what do we want to set the task name as? Because it would be good to put the assignee's name in it, but we're a bit stuck there. So let's just say, so what we want to do, we put that at the top there. So we've got a holiday request form. The task name, for some reason, isn't. Well, let's get them to fill this out. So what did we have before? We wanted it to be What should we call this time off? Let's do that. So we've got that. Your name, your email, select your profile from the list. Okay, so now what should we call this time off? Time off for a holiday in the sun. Your name, John. Your email, so me at millhenniol.com. Select your profile from the list. That one, start date tomorrow, end date. No, start date today, end date tomorrow. 5 p.m. That's tomorrow at 9 a.m. Okay, so submit that. Let's see what happens now. Go over to our list. Time off for a holiday in the sun. Okay, so we've got everything there. Some automations should have happened. We've got our checklist here. That's good. I see now it's worked. You can see the email's been sent. So it must have been something funny going on with the automations there. Anyway, it's been requested, so you can come into here, or you can look at the calendar, which is a bit nicer. You can see, cool, this is the person who's requested it. That's them there. Let's click into it. What do we need to do? Review the request. Okay, cool, I've reviewed it. Change the status. Cool, I've approved this. I've had a look, I've gone, yep, no one else got that time off. I can see it in the calendar. Let's approve this. Resolve all items. So, settings for this warning. So, let's cancel that for a second. Notified. So, we don't actually have to notify the user approval because they get notified. So, we can update our template in a minute. Let's just tick that off. Approved. Yes, resolve all items. Actually, maybe we can just do that every time. Doesn't matter. Let's leave that on there. Resolve all items. Okay, this has been approved. So that should send another email out. So let's close this one. And you'll see it's actually vanished from here. So on the other views, what you can do is you can just go to show and you can show the closed tasks. But that doesn't appear on the calendar for some reason. So what you have to do is go to filter, and where status is anything. So it's a bit strange, but that's how it works on here. So there you go. So now you can see, okay, that has been approved. And it's nice and green. You can see who's got time off and when. And then if you go to our emails over here, you can see time off request from John. John would like to request some time off. To Notion Dev. Cool. So this is if I was the, what do you call it? I was the manager and saying John would, oh, we need to put a space in there, would like to request some time off. Start date, end date. That looks good. Please go here to review. So you could click on that link. Ah, interesting. Why is that not found? Is that a task that we... Interesting. Okay. Oh. I think it's because it's got my branding on there. Because I've got my own thing here. So if we go to app.clickup, I think that's where the issue's coming in. Yeah, okay, so that's interesting. I'll bring that up with ClickUp as well. So the link that you're including doesn't work if you've got a custom domain on there. So that's a bit of a shame. Anyway, so what I'm going to do on here is I'm going to add this as a task. So send a bug report. No. Add a feature request to ClickUp to, what do we want to do? Include the custom domain task automated task link. So what I really like about ClickUp is you can highlight that and I can create a task out of that and add it to my to-do list. So my workspace, just pop it in my inbox where everything lives, assign it to myself. Great. There we go. So that's a task there, so I can pick that up later. So I think we pretty much got there. We've got to edit the template a very tiny bit. Well, leave the template like with the checklist items here, that's all fine. Oh, and then your time off request has been approved. So this was the one that comes into the manager. This was CC'd. There we go. So this is what you see. The time off request has been approved. Start date, end date. Happy days. Cool. So I think that is everything. And then if we go back to the list, show closed. Let's move my face out of the way. Auto save that. Boom. There we go. So you'll see that. And then when a few more come in, we can, edit by the start date or the due date. But really, the calendar is going to be your main view for seeing everything. Holiday request form calendar. So you can send out the link to people. They don't have to have access to this workspace at all. Just the HR person or whoever it is in charge can see this calendar, see when everybody's got the time off, and they can approve it or deny it. And everybody will get automated emails. So that went really well. So I want to give a shout out to Process Driven and Layla there for that awesome video. Took me a little bit longer to go through it than the 6 minutes it took her to explain it. But I'm really happy with that. So I'm going to try now and save that as maybe a template that I can share with people. That'd be really cool. And yeah, go from there. So I hope you like that. Let me know if you have any questions. Leave a comment below and I will get back to you.